What you think about yourself is what you will present to other people. You may not see it, but your aura oozes exactly how you feel about you. Welcome to the Sunshine State. My name is Sonshine Wiley, and I am your host. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. Y'all, come on in, come on in, come on in. We are about to take this up another notch. We are going to talk about self worth today because it's high time we figure out the mystery behind building it, exactly what it is, and if it's even possible to build self-worth. I know a lot of us have had moments and experiences that have contributed to the negative thoughts that we may have about ourselves, but there's so much more to us than the things that we may have seen or experienced through other people and scenarios and situations. So come on in, get you a little drink, let's cozy up. Welcome to the Sunshine State. First thing I want to do when we get started is I actually want to play another video for you. This video from this week is a video that I actually saw on Instagram again. It was with what is her name? I forgot the lady name. The lady off of they the lady off of Scandal. The one who played, the one y'all was all like, y'all wanted her clothes and all that kind of stuff. That lady. So I'm gonna play a video that I saw from her on Instagram, and I'm just gonna discuss that because this video is really good. And honestly, you wouldn't necessarily think that a person of her stature would have these type of feelings, but it's real because we all have some common experiences between us. So let's jump in. Let's do it. Hold on. Now, wait a minute. Okay.
I think I'm working to unlearn the belief that I am not enough, that I am less important and less deserving. I understood that there was something sacred about sacrificing my own need or desire or truth even to make space for someone else's journey. I've placed so much value on other people's sense of joy and goodness and safety that I've been willing to sacrifice my own sense of joy and goodness and safety. And I don't regret it. I think it's not wrong to care about how other people feel and want to do what's right for other people. I'm just learning to let myself be one of those people, right? To include myself. It's like I need to be as important as the other people I'm considering, that I deserve that.
Y'all, listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. Have I or have I not been telling us that we need our light too? People in the back. Have I said it? Yes, I've definitely said it. We need our light too. There are a lot of times that when struggling with self worth, we have not allowed ourselves to be placed on the same stature that we've placed other people who we might deem important or necessary in our lives. And today I want to talk about that. I want to talk about self worth today. I want to talk about unlocking that self worth and how do we get to the place where we don't just feel like we have to people please as a way to gain acceptance and to gain worthiness and to gain love, but we understand that that worth is inside ourselves without all of that in the first place. So let's start by defining what self-worth is in the first place. Self-worth is made up of a collection of your thoughts, feelings, outside influences, and life experiences. Now that is a sunshine definition. I went to my inner self because honestly, sometimes we have to define for ourselves what we feel self-worth is. And take a moment for yourself and actually see what it means for something to be worthy to you and figure out, are you worthy to you? That's your self-worth. It is the sum total of things that you believe to be true about yourself. People can feel if you don't think you're worthy. This goes before you. You walk in a room and people can tell. It oozes off of you. It comes off of you as if you were just there and you were telling people, hey, don't look at me. I don't like me. Don't look at me. I'm ashamed. That's what our self worth does, especially if it's not good or positive self worth, especially if it's not something that we are in the midst of enjoying life with, for, and about ourselves. You can walk in a room and you can anticipate nobody's going to talk to me today. Nobody's going to like me today. Nobody's going to want to be around me today. And you manifest that thing because that's exactly what you are putting out into the world. And that's the thing that you work towards. And that's the thing that you inadvertently manifested. Now, I'm not going to say I believe in the manifestation trend and things like that. There are some parts of the whole manifestation thought process that don't necessarily align with how I feel specifically, but there are things that you definitely can cause to occur because if you focus and are laser focused on something, that is the thing that you will attract. That is the thing that you will work toward. That is the thing that you will express. That is the thing that your behavior will draw. So, and a lot of times we don't realize that our behavior draws certain circumstances and situations. If you think that you are only worthy of people who are going to use you, you put yourself in a position to be used. You put yourself in a position to be around people who you know have zero concept of actually taking care of you in the way that they take care in the way that you take care of them. So some thoughts and beliefs that are inclusive of people who have high self-worth are, or the main one. Let's talk about the main one. No matter what I've done or haven't done, I'm worthy of love. How many of us can actually say for ourselves that it doesn't matter how much good or how many times we made a mistake, that we still believe that we are worthy of receiving and activating the love? How many of us can say that regardless of how many times I've made a misstep or maybe I had a cheat meal too many times this week? Maybe I didn't do what I said I was going to do. Maybe I forgot something too much. Maybe I was behind on a bill. How many of us can actually say that with all of that, we still know and understand and think and believe that we are worthy of love and good things? How many of us can actually say that about ourselves? I'll be honest, I have not been a person who was able to say that about myself for a very long time. There is a part of me that did not necessarily believe that good things were for me because all I saw was the bad. All I saw was things repeatedly happening for me. And I am so grateful for people who are in my community and in my journey who have the ability to talk to me in ways that they can be honest and they can be like, it's not that you're not lovable. It's not that you're not a good person. It's not that you're not kind. It's not that any of these things don't exist. It's that when you come to a place where there is camaraderie, there's love, there's compassion, all those things, you have such a need for those things that what comes off of you is that you just need it all. There's none for everybody else. You need it all. It's only for you. And that is a drain. That is a sucker. You literally are the only person who is sucking all of the love, the life, the goodness, the peace, the kindness out of the room. And it has to be more than that. Has to be more than that. And honestly, people are averse to those type things. People are averse to people who are suckers, are drains, and things like that. A person with a high sense of self-worth takes responsibility for their mistakes. Yes. Yes, they do. A person with a high sense of self worth takes responsibility for their mistakes. They don't hide from the responsibility. They don't hide from the fact that this thing might not feel that great. They don't hide from the fact that this thing might be something that I'm ashamed of and I really didn't mean to make this mistake. They don't hide from any of that. They're like, you know what? I made a mistake. This wasn't the right thing to do. I didn't feel good about it. Um, but here I am. And I am growing as a result of it. And even in all of that, I'm still worthy of love. Ooh, my. But in addition to that, they also do not, it does not degrade, they do not degrade themselves for making those mistakes. So while they are accepting responsibility, they're not degrading themselves for making those mistakes. They're not saying, oh man, I was so stupid for making that mistake. How could I do that? What is wrong with me? Why is this something that I keep doing? How many times have we said that to ourselves? How many times have we literally blown up our own spots because we didn't operate in the level of perfection that we thought we were supposed to operate within? How many times have we lost patience with ourselves because we thought, well, I'm supposed to be able to do this. I should be here by now. I should know how to do this by now. But does not degrade themselves for making those mistakes. If they goof, they say, I did a bad thing instead of I am bad. They say sorry when they need to and do what they can to make things right. So they're not running away from it. They're not hiding it. They're not pretending like it didn't happen. They're not hoping that you don't notice that it didn't happen. They're just being real and honest about the fact that, you know what? This happened. I made a mistake. This was crazy. Oh my gosh, I got to fix this. That's what they're saying. They're saying, man, I got to fix it. And I'm going to tell you something. As people who may want to be business owners, people who want to be in careers, people who want to have marriages, houses, families, things like that, it's going to be a lot of mistakes that come in all of it. You're never going to be able to do any of that stuff perfectly. You're never going to know how to do, like just on onset, you're never going to perfectly know how to do anything that you desire to do without some level of work in that direction. It just doesn't exist. What does exist is a person who understands that everything that you do that is worth it is going to require you to have a learning curve. There's a learning curve to everything that you do. There is a learning curve to you trying to understand what your next steps are. There is a learning curve to you understanding how to commune with people that you may have never communed with before. I have a person that I've worked with. I won't even say at what level that I've worked with them at because I don't want this to reach those specific that person. I'm tripping over my words, trying to cover it up so much. But I'm trying to make a point here. I've worked with a person who had a different personality style from me. And that personality style was hard for me to manage because it isn't something that I have dealt with before. And I automatically took offense to that personality style. But then when I took a step back and actually realized that that was not at all about me, but about how they view themselves, then I was able to get to a better place and a better perspective with that specific person. Because there's nothing like thinking that whatever is happening is your fault. Honestly, in that moment, we both were operating with issues of our self worth. I was operating with the issues that I have with my self worth, and that person by taking everything personally. And that person was dealing with, how they might feel their self worth um, is going by operating in whatever trauma response they may have been operating in. Let me try to think of a better example because I want to be able to tell you details and not risk anything for myself personally. Because I need to be able to drive this home. I feel like a lot of times when we talk about stuff, we so surface with it that nobody actually is getting helped from it. And here at the Sunshine State, I really want people to be helped by the things that we talk about. I don't want to just be in front of the camera and be the person you know as the feelings person. That's cool, but literally, the Sunshine State was started out of a personal need. It was out of a personal need for a journey that I needed to be on. So at no point in this journey am I interested in being fake on it. I'm not interested in being a person who is just up here running their mouth and talking, trying to run out the clock because. For what? If I was just trying to run out the clock, I could just do Facebook Live. Let's be real. But in these scenarios that I go through, I try to be sensitive to the fact that there are people who have not signed up to be a part of this journey. And so sometimes I'm not as transparent with other people's stories as I might be with my story, because I understand that although this is something, again, that I signed up for, they might not have signed up for it. So, whatever, I'm going to skip the story. I'm just going to talk about self worth. Self worth is something that you determine for and about yourself. If you are at the place and at the point where you don't realize that how you feel about yourself directly affects how other people feel about you, it's time to do some research and to do some waking up, because you absolutely teach other people how to treat you. You absolutely show people the pathway and how to access and gain access to you. If there is nothing else that we will do in this life, it is this: we will experience other people. We will experience their journeys. We will experience their highs and their lows. Maybe not intimately, because we're not going to know every person that we experience. But at some point, you're going to be a part of somebody else's story. And you can either be a good part of that story or a bad part of that story. So now, how does that translate into your own self-worth? That translates to your self-worth by you figuring out if you want to be the person who was able to be an example of a person who felt like being human was okay. Because that's all it really is. Operating in self-worth is operating understanding that you as a human will experience different things, and that as those different things occur and as those different things happen, you, my dear, will still be worthy of love, will still be worthy of kindness, will still be worthy of care. And that's what we are talking about today. We are talking about unlocking that self-worth. How do we get from the place where all we think or all we see are the negative things that have happened in our past, and all we have experienced are the negative things that we faced in our life? How do we get past that and get to a point where we are operating and understanding and knowing that we are worthy? How? The way we know is by getting to know ourselves. I actually said something earlier and I was like, I don't even understand. I really, really, really want to fully get to know myself inside and out. But a part of me doesn't even understand what the benefits of getting to know myself are. And now that sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out. Hear me out. The reason why I say I don't fully understand it is because what can I do with that knowledge? And so, as I begin to further dig deeper into knowing myself, I understand that that knowledge can help me to understand how to, number one, protect myself, and how to make sure that I'm getting myself to the place that I actually want to be. My number one goal and desire is growth. And because my number one goal and desire is growth, I have to operate with the understanding that in order for me to fully grow, I have to address the things that are lingering from my past. I have to. I absolutely have to. One of the things that, if I'll be honest, that has been the hugest struggle for me as far as self-worth goes, um, similar to the video, is my worthiness. Am I worthy of receiving the same type of love that I've given to other people, the same type of attention and sacrifices that I've given to other people. I've sacrificed for other people before, but I have questioned whether or not I'm worthy of receiving that same sacrifice. I've hurt other people's feelings because I was so blinded by the things that I faced that I wasn't even allowing or accepting the love that was being presented to me. There is love that was being presented to me, and I was so blind that I was just like, well, no, I don't think that's love. I think they just I was rationalizing that love. And I was rationalizing what they were doing in my direction. I actually used to write songs. I used to write songs to try to, I guess, get back at people because they had done so much for me. But what I didn't realize is that those songs started to become healing chants for me. And not chants like, I'm going to be well, I'm going to be well. No, that's not what I'm talking about. But like chants as far as like they were anthems of my freedom. They were anthems of my growth and my development. They were anthems of me doing better for and with myself. They were me realizing, hey, you do not have to stop here. You do not have to end here. This is not the last place that you have to be. And in that, I was starting to build the premise and the thought process about myself that as I'm taking responsibility for my mistakes, as I'm understanding and addressing things that might not have been done right on my part, I'm not going to degrade myself because I still understand that I am worthy of love. I am worthy of understanding that sometimes I'll make mistakes. Sometimes things will go bad. Sometimes I won't be perfect, but I'm still worthy of all of it. I'm worthy of knowing that good things are for me. I'm not grieving uh who I thought I could be, but will never accept that I can be because my self-worth is so low that I think that it's never going to happen to me. Now you got to realize and understand that the way that you think about yourself is married to your outcomes. Your mindset is married to your outcomes. You cannot think a certain way and expect the outcome to be different. It's not real. My things don't define me. The things that I face do not define me. You are not the things that you've been through. Those things happened. Some of them were out of your control, some of them were your fault, but they happened. And guess what? You're still worthy regardless. Regardless. The person who honors their worthiness knows that they can enjoy external things without attaching their identity to them. That's another thing. Like your self worth cannot be wrapped up in what you have. It can't be wrapped up in the fact that you drive in a Mercedes. It can't be wrapped up in the fact that you got a Tesla that everybody got now. It can't be wrapped up in the fact you got this little super truck thingy. I think that's been recalled or something like that. Whatever. But it can't be wrapped up in that. I gave an example of like the whole Chrisean Rock thing a long time ago. They took her to jail and all that kind of stuff. It was playing videos of her being in jail and how she was like, "Oh yeah, they got me and this, that, and the other." And I'm like, again, had you took it upon yourself to practice a sense of self-worth, certain things you wouldn't even allow because you understand that self-worth also is coupled with honor. If you believe that you are worthy of love, you also believe that you are worthy of honor. And there is an honor that comes into this whole thing. Certain things that come in this way. Because I have an honor for myself, certain things are just not coming this way. It's not happening. I'm sorry. It's a no. And honestly, Another part of really embracing your self worth is understanding that you're allowed to feel exactly how you're feeling. Feel your feelings. Don't allow them to define you. Don't allow them to make you stay in a rut for forever, but feel your feelings. You don't always have to be happy. You don't always have to put on a performative act for other people to know that you're in good spirits. And listen, I am guilty of that. Do you know how many times I put on a show for people so they wouldn't think that I was as sad and depressed as I actually was? Because I don't want to be the friend who's always down, who you got to feel like I feel guilty for feeling bad. Sometimes shit get rough. And it's just real life. And I'm not finna fake like I'm not having a moment or a season. I might be to myself. I might take some time alone, but I'm not finna be faking for your sake. Pretend like I'm not having a bad day just to make you happy and make you not want to not be around me. If you don't want to be around me because I'm a human and had a bad day, goodbye. People have bad days. It happens. Get over yourself. You have bad days. Live life, bro. I mean, they're just not always happy. The difference is that a person with a solid sense of self worth creates a space for their emotions without feeling guilty about them. So if you have a bad day, if you are having emotions, if you are having things that are happening for you, um, you understand that there is a space and there is a place for you to feel how you feel. And that's just it. There is a space and a place for you to know and understand that sometimes life doesn't always go the way you would like for it to go. Sometimes life radically accept that sometimes life is just the way it is and there's nothing you can do about it. And in the midst of that, you're still worthy of love. You are still okay. You are still solid intrinsically. You're still solid. And you don't have to feel guilty about the fact that sometimes the mistakes that were made were your fault. It happens. These people understand that their emotions are just tools that are helping them to pay attention. Now that's good. Sometimes your emotions are helping you to pay attention to yourself because sometimes we are moving so fast that we're not even slowing down to pay attention to us. Now we're real good at paying attention to other people, but paying attention to yourself sometimes is not necessarily the easiest thing to do. You got to be able to notice your emotions and allow them to be just as they are. Allow yourself to be just that in the moment. Sometimes you might have to withdraw from people or go to a place by yourself to be able to work on and operate with your own emotions by yourself. Yeah. So the last thing I'll talk about is they delight in the joy of missing out. To be alone. I don't want to die alone. I want companionship. Now, trust me, I'm not mocking it because I want it too. But I want it. I don't need it. And look, sometimes I feel like I'm being fake when I say these things because some of these are affirmations. Some of these are things that I'm speaking to myself. Some of these things I'm walking towards. Because let's be real, who doesn't want companionship? Who doesn't want friends? Who doesn't want people, in your family to be honest and loyal to you? I know I do. And I'm not going to be fake and pretend like I don't. But I also have to understand that that is not based in need. That is based in desire. This person doesn't go to parties and events simply because they are afraid to be left out. Y'all, that FOMO stuff, we gotta kill it. They believe the people who really matter will always welcome them, even if they don't. They still will be okay on their own. This person knows that what other people think about them is none of their business. They create time and space for themselves and honor that by setting firm boundaries, they do not allow people to encroach on their privacy. They invite people into their life who have earned the right to be there and recognize that other people have the right to invite them or not. So here's the thing. A strong sense of self-worth is also understanding the things that are not okay for you and the things that you have to say no to and be all right with not being included in. There is a certain sense of self-worth that I have learned, because I'm not even going to pretend like it was always there. Yes, I had to learn it. That there are certain things that I'm okay with not being included in. I came to California, and California got a whole different set of rules when it comes to genuineness with certain people. People are real Hollywood. And although I'm originally from California, um, being spending so much time away in other states, in Florida and Chicago, or in Illinois, because Illinois is a state, Chicago's a city. Okay. But spending so much time in other places helped me to see other things. And while it is a constant thing that people are talking about, it is very real that people in California operate with this showmanship, this Hollywood mentality, to where it's not a whole lot of authenticity or genuineness on display. So when you have a sense of self worth, those things, you don't play about those things. You don't have time for people to be like, oh, yeah, I got you. I'm a yada, 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 yada. And then don't show up or don't, or pretend like they never even said that. If you have a sense of self worth about yourself, it's certain things that you're just not even allowing. It's certain things that you're not even wanting to be a spectator of. I'm not about to watch you do something crazy to somebody else. I'm not about to watch you downgrade somebody else or be crazy and do stuff to somebody else that I wouldn't want done to me. I'm not going to be a part of that, because I understand that because I feel like I am so worthy of love, that I have to make sure that I am not only requiring honor from other people, I'm requiring it from myself. I have to honor myself by making sure that I'm doing things that are worthy of my time. And you get to do the same thing. You get to make sure that you're doing things that you feel are worthy of your time. If what we're doing, I had a friend, she is not much of a be out in the club kind of person. And so I invited her one day to this event that we were going to. I didn't know what the event was going to be about. But there was like a theme to it, and everybody dressed up according to the theme. And then when we got there, it turned out to be some whole other ratchetry. And she was like, this used to be something I was cool with, but this not really me no more. And I was so cool with that. I understood why I was there. I was there to network. I was there to speak to people, to get my name out there, to push certain things, to make connections and things like that. She wasn't. She was just a passenger kind of coming on the Sunshine show, coming on the ride with Sunshine. That's what she was doing. And I realized that even in that moment, because she was like, nah, this ain't for me, I'm going to have my man come pick me up. I was cool with that. I was actually impressed by it, because it was like, she was able to not disrespect me or not make me feel crazy because I had a purpose for being there. And then at the same time, enforce a boundary that was necessary for her. I was totally cool with her leaving. I was totally cool with her understanding that that's not the moment that she's in. That's not the season that she's in her life. And that certain things she's just not cool with right now. And that's cool with me, because there's certain things I'm not cool with. It's certain things that I understand that for myself, this is not me right now. That's not me right now. Maybe it'll be something I'll be cool with later. Maybe it'll be something that I'll turn into. But for right now, that is not me. And I know I said that was the last thing, but I got one more thing I want to talk about, or one more thing I want to say. It's not about what happens. It's about how you respond to what happens. People who have high sense of self-worth haven't had easier lives than the people who don't. And I feel like a lot of us, I know I do. I have had to get out of the mentality that There are people who just have easier lives than me. And that's why it's so easy for them to feel good about themselves. That's not the truth. That's not the truth. Literally, people who are operating with self worth have a constant reminder and some type of constant internal barometer that says they are worthy. They are responsible for their feelings, thoughts, and actions, and they put that into action. And notice I'm saying they, because I'm not all the way there yet. I'm still working on it. I am. And this is real life. I'm not trying to pretend like I'm somebody who got it because I'm getting it. I'm getting it. But I'm not all the way there yet. And we got to be real about ourselves because the only way we can actually grow is if we're being honest about where we are right now so that we can make the steps to get to where we need to be. Because it's not that people with self worth never feel bad and that they never get down on themselves. That's not true at all. They do, because we all do. The difference comes in how these feelings are handled. So when you get those feelings, rather than getting stuck in what's wrong right now, there is a more powerful way to approach those obstacles. The more powerful way to approach those obstacles is, okay, this happened and this is where we are and this is where I am right now, but this is not where I will be forever. This is how I feel right now, but this is not my final place of thought process. It's not my final mentality. This is not my final place where I will be. This is just one moment in time that I can learn from, that I can grow from, and that I can embrace on my journey to exactly where I desire to be in my life. I am a work in progress. I am on a journey, and there is nothing on this journey so far that can define me. Everything on this journey is just simply something that has occurred that I can learn from, that I can grow from, or that I can embrace. And that's just it. And that's just it. That's just it. And I actually started to talk about a lot of the people on social media that have their self worth wrapped in likes and comments and things like that, because I understand what it's like to want to put something out there that's quality and that garners a response, and then getting it back and then not garnering the response that you want. I understand what that feels like. I understand what it's like to have a knowledge and an awareness that there is good in you, and there are just certain people who haven't seen it yet. But at the same time of me understanding that, I also understand that that doesn't mean that it'll never happen. I also understand that because you might have a business that you've launched on social media and it might not be super popular right now, it doesn't mean that it'll never be popular. It doesn't mean that you'll never be able to draw business from advertising on social media. It doesn't mean that at all. It just means you have to either continue to consistently work it or you have to try other avenues that will reach your customer base. Because there are definitely ways to achieve the goals that you have for yourself. And there's nothing that tells you that just because it didn't work in the first month that it'll never work. That's them defeatist mindsets, and we got to let them go. We got to understand that we are so much more than right now. Right now is subject to change. And I'll say it again, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it again. Right now is subject to change. And I'm so grateful that right now is subject to change, because even in my own journeys, I've seen growth and I've experienced things that I never thought I would experience. And I'm so grateful for that. And I want that for you too. So, guys, thank you so much for joining me today on the Sunshine State. Today has been one of those days that not only was reflective, But it was also eye-opening at the same time because there's a lot of times where we talk about stuff and we try to pretend like, well, not me, because every one of these, I'm like, y'all, this is talking to me too. This is definitely talking to me. So this journey is not going to be something that I'm gonna pretend like only pertains to somebody else. It definitely pertains to me. With all that being said, make sure that you're being good to yourself and being good to the people who are around you. Thank you so much for joining this episode. Again, is sponsored by Well Brand Apparel. Please make sure that you get your Well Brand Apparel. This is cute. Y'all like it? Ooh, HBCU educated. Yeah. I went to FAMU. Anywho, but yeah, so make sure that you tap in and get your Well Brand Apparel. It's a lot of really cute stuff that is on there. I got the journals and the planners and things like that on a different site, and I'll include that in the description of this video. And as always, you can reach us at www.sunshinestate.com. Again, that is www.sunshinestate.com, and that is sunshine with an O. I don't know why they do that. It's cute though. But yes, you can reach us at thesunshinestate.com, not the sunshinestate.com. And please be sure to like, subscribe, share, watch it with your auntie and them, or whoever. Let's make sure that we get this to the people who might be impacted by it. Thank you again so much for being a part of this journey. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye.
Don't be afraid of the crowd, laughing loud and feeling free. Never noticed till you there was more. They can see you really. So stand out, stand out, stand out. You're here, you're free, absolutely where you need to be. So stand out, stand out, stand out.
Welcome to the Sunshine State, a space for health, healing, and wellness.